Hey guys, a little short video today. We're just going to be going over what Ranger was talking about in the Discord about the state of the game, balancing, basically issues around why there's so much player loss. Currently, if you guys don't know, we went from like 32k to like, I don't know, it's like 3k right now. So our numbers are pretty low, sadly. But they're taking a step back. They're trying to evaluate why this is happening. They said that the things are like, might be a little bit delayed. They said that they're going with the original plan for the patch though. So the roadmap was being delayed because they're trying to evaluate why their players were leaving basically. So they took a step back and they're like, all right, we're going to evaluate what's going on. We're going to make sure this doesn't happen again in the future. Even if we gain more players, we don't know really, we need to figure out the reason why. And I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions and plenty of reasons as to why after we go over his comments here. But the patch that we know of, he says, is still planned for mid-January as originally planned. They're testing the next hero, which I hope is Adele, the new character. Please be Adele, which probably won't be, but fingers crossed. But yes, they are still planning a patch next month. It's going to be mid-January, so we know that's in the next 2-3 weeks. We are going to get a new character, so that's super exciting. But yeah, we are going to go over his comments here. So if you guys do enjoy the video, please do drop a subscribe. I'm going to keep bringing you Overprime content and news like this. You guys are blowing me away with your support. I really appreciate it. We're almost to 1,000. We are so close. Thank you guys so much. And let's get right into the video. So, Ranger usually communicates over Discord. They need more of a public community team. Unfortunately, they're overseas, so it's kind of hard to like have them stream or do anything like that. So it feels really like we're disconnected from the community, which is a really big disappointment. That being said, Ranger still, despite the hours, will go into the Discord and start talking to people. So if you guys do use Discord, I highly encourage you get the Discord to see if there's any news or anything kind of like being talked about in here. He'll just make comments in there that kind of reveal a lot and what they're working on. Just like this, he did a developer's diary where he was, listing all the issues and stuff and looking at items that he needed to balance, which you can see 2 items down there that he's looking at. Hopefully other items as well as characters. So please, because there's a lot of broken ones. Yeah, anyways, let's get right into it. So this is Ranger's comment about the state of the game. I know that many people are worried about the game due to lack of communication these days and the departure of many users. And I know a lot of people say that they don't manage games and communities. So I'd like to briefly tell you what we're doing right now. Right now we have a lot of lost players, so we are analyzing the data and looking for the cause. From the operation to the completeness of the game, there are many areas that are lacking, but we are trying to improve by focusing on experience difficulties by users who are new to our game. If this part is not improved, I think the similar situation will be repeated, even if many users come in the future. We will also work harder to create and improve the game's balance, BM, and fun elements, as well as the identity that represents our game. So looking at this comment alone, it seems that most of the issue is with player onboarding. It seems mostly new players, and we'll go into that a little bit later, are the reason why we're losing so many players. People are really confused going into the game. They don't know what's up. And this is a very big issue. I mean, most of the people who I feel like are sticking with the game are either Paragon veterans or people who really enjoyed the game and were more intuitive to understand what's going on. The game is pretty difficult to get into without someone knowledgeable, I feel like, because it's a MOBA. Now, I'm not saying they needed to, it's super easy to introduce to a MOBA, but they could have had a better tutorial, right? Like, MOBAs are notoriously known for being bad, having bad tutorials and stuff, because you can't teach a lot of the elements of a MOBA, right? The stuff that a MOBA has, the elements of MOBA has, are very difficult to pick up on. It's there's a lot to take into the game, and also the Paragon veterans also straight up have an advantage. Every character. There's 27 characters in the game aside from one of them, so 26 of the characters are from the old Paragon. You don't know those characters like everyone else does. I knew everyone's kit going into this. Like, I have a major advantage, and I know how they used to be played. Like, I know how Chimera used to be played, right? I know how Kalara used to be played. I know how Sereth used to be played. I mean, most people don't know that Sereth used to be a carry. It's my main character. And so I play her in the carry lane and dominate, and they're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how are you? Like, people don't know things because it's a difficult process. Learning characters, rotations, awareness. Most MOBA knowledge can transfer, but people who are new to MOBAs who thought this game looks cool, it's a 3D action fighting game. It looks kind of like a shooter and kind of functions like one too. People don't really understand how it works. So of course people are going to get confused. They're going to play they're going to play their first match and then instantly be like, which is against real players, by the way, and then they're instantly going to be like, okay, this is bad, and leave. What I think they need to do is force you into bot games to make you feel like you understand what you're doing and guide you during that process, right? Give you tips in the first game. Honestly, the tutorial needs to be expanded upon to even introduce you to the game in the first place, the entire pace of the game and how it works, giving you an idea of what to build. Say you can build all these items, for instance, for this character, and then for playing the tutorial, for each tutorial you will play, I think they should award you a character based on what you did, or maybe you could pick a free character, kind of like how Wild Rift does it. But they need to increase player onboarding, because right now, when new players join the game, they probably just get scared off, and then, their first experience is going to be their only experience, because they're not going to want to come back because of how bad it was, right? The game, I know it's in early access, I know it can work on these things, but it's still, early access by all definitions still would mean a full game launch, right, to a lot of people, and I acknowledge that. Like, the game I love the game. I think it's in a great state. As someone who knows how the game operates and knows how it works, I've played this game a lot. I mean, I have 300 hours. That being said, most people haven't played that much, like most people don't know how it works. Still, people who have played 200 hours still are confused sometimes. Like, it's not straightforward. It's a MOBA. I understand that. So it's really difficult to kind of I know it's difficult to create tutorials for MOBAs, but there definitely could be easier ways to alleviate a lot of new player concerns and, situations. Like, aside from just giving a bunch of free characters away, which was great. They definitely needed to do that. I definitely like that. But it's like, that's just, for me, it's a really, really big issue. Is just player onboarding, and that's where they lost most of their players. According to Arranger, he made a comment in the Discord. He said most of our players dropped from the tutorial, which is weird. They didn't even finish the tutorial. The game runs fine. There's no glitches in the tutorial, at least aside from getting locked in there. But most of the player drop off was literally right then, where you're in the tutorial, they just leave the game, they quit. Maybe they don't like how it functions. I don't know. I don't know how that works. The tutorial was pretty decent. It tells you how to buy and use your gold. But I think more so the game pace and how it functions is what people need to learn, because they go into their first match against real players. Again, we desperately need 5v5 PvE. There needs to be 5 players. You can go in solo or with friends. That is not just a custom game. Like, you see it. It's like the first option when you go to play a game. The only option. Like, you should have to grind to like level 3 or level 4 before you can play real players. I think level 3 maybe, because it takes no time to get there, but level 3 or level 4 before you actually can fight new players, because I feel like, and the AI has to be advanced and smart, because the AI is super dumb right now, because right now you just go into the game, you go into PvP, and you get smacked, and it just feels really, really bad. Definitely need PvE, and maybe like an ARAM mode eventually. I don't know if that's a focus they need, but Smite has proven casual game modes have been a very big success and being more played than the main game mode, Conquest. In Smite literally has Arena, it has like Joust. I know they're thinking about 3v3 kind of ARAM mode or some kind of like lane mode. That'd be fine. Anything that's more casual than the 5v5, because again, only having this mode might be a detriment to a lot of people, because people want to just chillax, or some kind of arena mode. I think arena would be great, like where you can pick your character and just kind of walk in, you get extra gold, you just kind of fight, push minions down like a giant center of an arena, kind of like how Smite does it. That'd be perfectly okay. I think that'd be great for learning the game for new players. It's mostly what new players play, I think, in Smite anyways. There's plenty of things they can do. I'm not a developer. I'm just saying tutorial needs to be fixed. There needs to be more player onboarding. There needs to be guides directing players on how to build certain things for certain characters. Like they know to build their starter, maybe not to the fullest, but like, even though, or just follow the recommended. They know how laning works perfectly, right? Like, not every player knows these things. It's just, especially new players, it's difficult. I know that many people are worried because the release of the patches and roadmap is being delayed. We're going to patch once a month as originally planned, and that will be mid-January. We are currently testing the next hero, and information on the next hero will be released soon. Please wait a little longer, even if it takes a little longer and there are many inconvenient parts. We are always working hard, and we express our gratitude to the many people who trust and wait for us. So yeah, obviously, like I said, message from Ranger. Thank you, Ranger, by the way, for coming in the Discord and commenting here. Definitely need more of a community team, just community managers in general. It's kind of weird that we just don't have a lot of people kind of speaking out. It's only Ranger talking. Yeah, he's a community manager. He might even be a dev, I don't know. It's very confusing to me as to why it's only him and I haven't really seen anyone else. I think I've seen Jon Snow come in a couple of times, but he's a dev. Obviously, he's really busy working on a lot of things. I do appreciate these two coming in here and talking, and we definitely needed updates like this because right now, like I said, the player base is dwindling. And I know it's early access, but you know, we lost a lot of players. We're still looking. Obviously, there's other things that could fix it as well, like console release and stuff, but that's not going to solve the impending issue of people not coming in, although having a larger player base definitely will help. So hopefully the console as well is getting pushed forward for Xbox and PS4 or PSN. Fingers crossed. So yeah, this is basically the message about the game, state of the game. I'm optimistic. I'm hoping everything will be, you know, pretty smooth from this point on. I'm excited for the mid-January update. We have like 2-3 weeks to go. Really excited to see what's going on with that. I'm loving the game. So just so you guys know, I'm loving the game. I'm enjoying the game. I'm having a blast. You guys know I'm making a bunch of content in the game. But, you know, I'm trying to put out guides every now and then. I'm not the best guide maker by any means, trust me. But I'm trying, you know, and it's definitely something the game needs to kind of elaborate more on for new players, because that's, you know, that's most of the people leaving are the newer players. I know there's other things they need to work on too, like ranked and stuff being so scuffed, but you know, even I get frustrated with that stuff. It's just, like I said, they're working on it. It's early access. I get that. At least the game feels nice, smooth, and running for the most part, aside from a few glitches. There are some server issues as of late. I don't know what's going on with that. Like a lot of server issues actually, but it's still pretty smooth for the most part. The game feels so good to play, which is why I'm really looking forward to seeing what we're going to be like in 6 months. Very excited. So going on to the item balance. So that's basically everything Ranger was talking about with this. And we're going on to the item balance. I heard a lot of feedback from you guys, so I'm going to write something here in the future to organize my thoughts. We know there's a lot of feedback on the tank mage. This is, do the 2 items need to be adjusted? So this item is called Pendant of Confinement, and this item is called Sweet Life. All right, so here we have Sweet Life. So he's looking at these 2 items. He's wondering if tank mages need to be adjusted. Sweet Life, which has 30 physical, 600 health, 250 mana, and 10% CDR. Killing an enemy hero or assisting in a kill recovers 2.5% of max health and 2.5% of max mana for 5 seconds. The recovery effect is activated once in 5 seconds, even if multiple heroes are defeated within 5 seconds. So I don't really know exactly how this item works. If you kill 5 people, for instance, I don't know if it max heals you. The thing about this item, it has really good stats. For tank mage specifically, people are building it, they're going for the 600 health and the 250 mana, 10% CDR, and then there's 30 physical, which is decent. The passive isn't as good as people make it out to be. It's a good it's a decent passive, but it's not going to help you as a tank mid. I do like building Sweet Life because 10% CDR and 600 health and 30 physical is nice. I like building it like 4th or 5th sometimes. But I acknowledge that it's pretty troll. There is way better tank items for tanks, and then for mid, I've never really understood why building this one specifically, because 600 health and 250 mana doesn't save you from a lot of situations. 600 health is very nice. It definitely helps, but it's not it doesn't give you any damage. If you guys want to know a little tip, you can actually just do if you hit health and magical power, if you really wanted to survive based on health, you can click all of these items basically that give you health. If you can use Cultist Blow, by the way, I didn't know this item you had to be close for. This is definitely new to me. But yeah, you can click on all these items. They all give you about 300 health or 350 health. You will have a massive health pool and still have a large amount of power. So if you go Teardrop, I like to go Teardrop into Cultist Blow if you can use it. Otherwise, Teardrop into whatever, Furtive Greed, Mini Moda. Even if you don't need, you can use them. You just tab on every single one of these, all 6 of these. You literally will have a massive health pool, which is what I used to do all the time. Now I do it a little bit differently, but it definitely was viable. It took forever for people to kill me because health is pretty good in this game. There was no defense, but again, 30 defense is going to save you anyways. That's a little tip if you guys wanted to be like more of a tanky and still high damage dealing mage. That being said, with Sweet Life, I actually don't think this item needs a nerf. I like this item as it is. It does what it needs to do. The passive isn't that good for combat. It's good for after you have won your fight. So if you're losing, or if they're just building better, or if they have pen or health scale, which a lot of characters usually have, they will beat you. And most of the time, people who build Sweet Life lose. I've built Sweet Life 4th with a lead, and I could feel the detriment because I decided instead of going for anti-crit when I needed to, or like any other defense item really, as a tank, it feels bad. As a mid, I have never tried to build this because Pendant is a better mid choice in most situations. And there's also something with this item that I'm going to go over. But building both these items, I heard at a high level, is pretty troll. So you have to build one of them depending on the matchups. Again, it's nice to have it, but it's just, it lowers your early game ganks. Mid, I feel like people are focused on trying to be like some weird tanky survivability thing. It's all about positioning and being a second jungler. I like going tanky mid. I play Aurora mid all the time. I play Shinbi mid. If you want to play tank mid, play those two characters. They work there. They are fantastic there. They're probably some of the best characters you can have there because tanks are so broken. I don't know how this build came to be. I don't really like Sweet Life. I just don't. I don't see the value in it. So he's looking at adjusting this one. Maybe you could tack off 200, 300 health, maybe, but I think every other stat is fine. The passive isn't that great. It's not that strong. Again, you have to get kills to make this work. This item doesn't help you do that. It helps you survive. And you can hit extremely hard. It's pretty cheap. 2,900 isn't the most expensive item. But if I had two power items and they built this in mid, they automatically lose. Now, people like to stack this. They like to go this pendant into this. If you go pendant into this, you actually do 0 damage. There is nothing you do. You do not offer anything for your team except being a walking... I've never seen anyone build these two items and prosper. Let me say that. I'm not ranked. I haven't played a lot of ranked. I only have 8 placements. I've lost 2 of them, sadly. I have never seen anyone build both of these and prosper. I've seen people really only build pendant. Now, pendant is made to beat your matchup. Pendant is nice against phase or certain characters like that. It is overloaded with stats. It has 50 magical, 300 health, 350 mana, and 50% CDR. It is pretty bloated with stats. I think the item's actually pretty okay. Maybe lower the magic defense and health a little bit, but I think the mana is fine. There's not a lot of mana items. CDR is fine. It's just nice to get that. Maybe lower the magic defense to 35, and maybe lower the health to 200, maybe 150. I do think it was a little bloated. The passive is fucking amazing. I love the passive so much. It feels really good. It gives you a lot of damage every 5 seconds. Literally every 5 seconds. This item is meant for every 5 seconds, which means in the course of a 20-second team fight, you get this passive off 4 times. You're getting an extra 600 damage. Most mages can cast 3 abilities within that time, just their main ability, let alone their other ones. So like you're basically trading off your damage for this item. I never understood why you'd build this item except for trying to just sauce in your matchup. Tip note, don't fight your matchup. Literally just help your team. If anyone is building this, if you decide to just go for someone else, like the jungler, the carry, even the support, you will be way more beneficial than anyone with this item. And I know I've built this item twice now on mid, and I have never felt more useless in my life. I feel like I've dropped so many kills because I just had this item. Instead of going a second damage, I'd usually go teardrop into this. Actually, I built this first on the first time, and then I built teardrop. This item doesn't feel good. I know people feel really strong. They get to counter their matchup and they build stuff. Tip note, if you're a jungler, just farm whoever has this. They have no defense to you if you're not Shinbi. If you are Shinbi, just ignore them. Literally go for everyone else. They don't do that much damage. I remember the mid built this and I felt so... it was insanely... It was Bellica. And Bellica is a counter to tanks. But I still could run at her and completely dominate her easily, even though she had pendant. Because she didn't do any damage. Now her ult did damage, because she's probably the best one you could do this on. But looking at other mages, the other mages want damage. It did not feel good. That's from my personal experience. I get it. High rankers use this all the time. They're 1v1ing, they're laning all the time. Mid is just a second jungle. You should be you shouldn't be just fighting your matchup only. You could be saucing on them, but like if I'm playing Countess or Shinbi in mid, I'm rotating. I'm not fighting my matchup. I'm not letting them, I'm not 1v1ing them. I'm always rotating. So when you go for a gank, this item does not help you in that 5-second interval. You get one slow, and then you hit the wait, and 150 damage, and all your power, the 70-60 power that you could have had, is gone. So I don't think this item actually needs tuning for mages. I just think it needs tuning for tanks. That being said, I think every tank item in the game has to be nerfed, pretty much universally. I think every tank item in the game, so basically everything past this point, is pretty broken. Sweet Life, I think, is okay. Again, you can buff and nerf it, but look at Margaret Stone. Oh, sorry, Margaret Stone's not ignore Margaret Stone. Zinx needs a massive nerf. I don't understand. Honestly, if it's going to be dual, make magical defense like 30 each with 250 health. Way too good, way too broken. 30 with 250 health would be way 200 health. The reflection's fine, the anti-heal's fine, but 30 with 250 health is a lot less than what it has now. The stats are overloaded. Zemia's needs a nerf. I think it should be 35 physical, completely take off the magical, keep the CDR, and lower the health to 150. There you go. You have a way less tankier item. Needs to happen. High end armor, 35 defense, 150 health. Keep the health regen and keep the passive. That's perfectly. Maybe lower the passive to like 10%. Honestly, there you go. Nerf to tank items. All these tank items just are way too overloaded. They have a lot of health or a lot of defense. Like this item needs to be like 45 physical defense and 200 health. Like these items are too strong. And I think that's why mid tank feels so good, is because people are getting a taste of how good a tank feels. But I don't think people realize how broken. People already know tanks are broken. And they're like, well, we're going to do mid tank. If you want to be a mid tank, play a tank in mid. Like, that's literally the solution. Like, instead of playing a mid laner, don't make the mid laner a tank, because mid laners suck against tanks right now. Play a tank in mid. That's all you have to do. I'm telling you, it is better than usually a mid laner because you can help your team way more than a mid laner can. And you're extremely tanky. That forces people to build pen. It forces the carries to go really hard on it. It's super oppressive. I think tanks all around need a nerf. Not so much that mages need a nerf. I think they're okay. They work. It's just very weird to me how much it works in ranked. I think it's a little odd. I get it. It's more organized, but again, there's only really ever one magic damage dealer in the game, maybe two. So if there's two, I could see an argument for pendant, but usually you'll have one magic damage dealer in the game. I'm not trying to counter my mid laner. I'm trying to beat them. And even if I'm not trying to beat them, I'm trying to beat everyone else in the game and help my team. You know, like Gideon will never build this, for instance. You know, Gideon will. I don't think Gadget should ever build it either. I think Gadget doesn't need to be right next to someone. Gadget should be playing from afar. So that's just my personal opinion. Obviously, everyone has different takes. Let's go on to the next stuff. Sorry, I was rambling about this. I just thought it was interesting. But yeah, tanks, I think, just need a nerf overall. Those are my opinions on the tanks. All right. So then we have Jungle Blessing. What do you think of the intentionally refusing it to arrange a map? Oh no, this is the wrong one. We've also received feedback of more heroes playing with Destroyer Stone. I did it to increase the degree of freedom and allow a variety of strategic play. I like this idea, but I honestly think that jungling should be hard for certain characters. Now, I think it's not so much a problem with Destroyer Stone. I think the carries have two, like, mages cannot clear jungle easily, and it's easy to get invaded. This also applies to carries, by the way. Carries also have trouble clearing the jungle. So when they say allow for a variety of strategic play, I think all they need to do is make the camps hit way harder. Like, I think they nerfed the camps for Countess specifically, because Shinbi could already do it, right? It was hard, but she could do it. Now she can do it super easily. Shinbi's a great jungler. Countess is still bad. Countess is meant to be played mid currently right now because her jungling is just awful. They need to make a mage jungle starter and a physical jungle starter, basically, and then maybe a tank jungle starter. But there needs to be different ones because currently right now mages struggle more than physicals, obviously. Aside from Shinbi, really just Countess. There's only two viable ones. And people said, you know, he said here, which please don't do this. Example, Jungle Revenant. Jungle Revenant does not work. I've never seen a Jungle Revenant work. I have, there's so many of them, dude. I've seen at least like 10, 15 of them. Please do not do Jungle Revenant. If you have a brain and you see a Jungle Revenant on their team and you know he's a jungle, go into his jungle and kill him. He has no movement. He has no blink. You out-trade him pretty much with any character. I could beat him with Kalari. He is so easy to kill. I farm Revenant jungles all day. Just invade. If there is a Revenant jungle, invade. It is. I've had newer people playing with me, my friends, newer friends, who just farmed Revenant jungle because he heard that it was good and decided to do it. I don't care how high rank you are. You can easily be destroyed. It's like you have to play safe as Revenant jungle. Of course you do, because you're a fucking ranger. Please do not play Revenant jungle. I hate that he uses this example because people are going to do it. People started doing it the day I saw this post. More so. It was insane. But there seems to be a lot of negative feedback about non-jungler heroes getting the stone. Again, all they need to do is make it so if you have the stone, you cannot get lane farm for the first 5 minutes, or you can't be in a lane with somebody and get farm for the first 5-10 minutes, because multiple people can buy it, and they buy it for the smite prospect. I also think they should probably honestly just get rid of the smite altogether. I don't know if smite should be a thing. I think the smite shouldn't work as well on certain camps. Like, smite doesn't have this issue personally. I think League has this issue probably, but smite doesn't. Just make it so one person really just wants to build it most of all, and it's a detriment for everyone else to build it. It really hurts their farm. They get less gold, or maybe they get no gold. Honestly, like, you make it a really big detriment. One person should be the only person building this item. There shouldn't ever be two. So if you want a jungler that one person gets it, the other person who builds it will be a detriment, or he'll detriment everyone on his team by taking away his own farm, and then he's useless. Right? If you're in lane, you should never have this item. I hate seeing multiple smites for objective play. It's just really weird. Just make it a one and done item for junglers only. I think that would solve a lot of the issue. Just making it, again, you cannot get farm for the first 5 minutes from lanes, maybe, or you don't get farm for the first 10 minutes of the game if you try to go in a lane with other people, right? And it also just decreases your gold farm next to someone in general. I don't know. Like I said, one person should have this item, not two. There's plenty of different things they can do. I'm probably going to think more about what I want this item to be. But I think they should separate. I think there should be a magical starter, a physical starter, and a tank starter. Like most, I think MOBAs have those. I think mages need a bigger boost than physicals, so they need to have a higher scaling. I also think starters in general, including outside of these, need a buff overall. The starters are garbage. They need a buff. I get it. They're supposed to be something with a blink or a smite. Junglers are at a disadvantage because they lose fights pretty easily. Most people just sell their starter and don't even build it because the items are better. Just make the starters, they're so expensive, make them better. Just make the starters better. The only ones that matter are green at the start, which most people just run green. They don't even run anything else. They literally just run green because it's so detrimental. Yeah, just literally, please buff starters. Give it CDR for mages and mana. Give physicals, like, you know, just more damage and maybe percent pen. I don't know. Do something because they're so bad right now. Getting a blink feels good on certain characters. Like, I like getting the dash and sparrow, but on Twin Blast, I don't get a blink. I just keep it off. I'd rather just get better stats because they're so important. Anyways, or just get a smite. A lot of times as a tank, I'll just get smite and I'll help smite the objective because you could stack them. It's super easy. Afterwards, not start of the game, at like the later half of the game when it matters, I'll just buy a smite, a T1. I never upgrade this item, by the way. Never upgrade this jungle starter. It's never upgrade a starter unless it's yellow anyways, but or unless you sparrow. But I never upgrade a starter because this starter doesn't, it just gives you better stats. It doesn't actually increase the smiting power. The smiting power stays the same. So if you want to help smite with your team, you actually don't have to upgrade this thing. All you have to do is upgrade it full, or all you have to do is just get the T1 and do it. And it's 1200 at level 18. It's insane. I think it's just stupid. Anyways, we're rambling. What do you think of intentionally refusing to arrange a match? Now that I think about it, it seems like a design mistake on our part. It was really necessary to have an accept and reject buttons in the process of finding a match and going to draft lobby. I started doubts. Yeah, this was stupid. I was talking to my friend about it. I was like, I think it's dumb that they haven't accepted and a decline. I was like, if you ready up, it's either accept or you just wait it out. Yeah, I understand that. Like, yeah, just get rid of it. Get rid of the decline button. I think it was stupid. I get it. Maybe you change your mind, but if you're not there, you change your mind, just wait it out, you know, like, whatever, doesn't really matter. When designing the game at first, I designed the game with 70% fight and 30% game management in mind to increase the speed of tension of the game. However, the result was not so, and a lot of snowballing occurred from the beginning of the game, and I think that there are many games that cannot be reversed once the game starts to tilt. That is untrue, actually. I think there is a lot of reversal you can do if your team actually decides to play. I've had a lot of comebacks. It's just dependent on the skill level of players. I feel like there's always a possibility for comeback, despite the odds. Including snowballing. Like, I've had major invasions. I've died. I was 0-4 in a ranked game, and I completely turned it around. Completely. It was just the skill level of players dependent. Also, the actions they take at a certain time. I've had, like, the worst games, and as long as my players knew how to play the game decently, we were able to turn it around, or I was able to turn it around by myself. So it's definitely possible to have major comeback games. Like I said, I was 0-4. I have a video up of it. A ranked game, literally went 0-4. Turned that whole thing around. I think I ended up like 12-8. Maybe it was higher. Maybe it was like 14-8. I don't remember. But it was the worst start ever, and I was able to turn it. And everyone was doing bad. Everyone. So I think this is clearly a design mistake on my part. I think players are not getting the fun of operation because of this. In order to improve this part, I will adjust the balance of kill and assist experience value, which is a good idea. I'm not sure what they should do with the kill experience value and the assist experience value. I think the kill value is too high. I think they should lower it severely. Gold wise, I think the gold for kills are insane. The levels are okay. Gold needs to be lowered significantly, in my opinion. I think the assist needs to be balanced out a little bit more. I think if you have 2 people, the assist experience should go up a little bit for gold, and then 3 people just completely like nullifies it. Like, it's just, if you're snowballing, that, you know, it sucks to be you. You're not getting any gold or any experience for that matter. It's just, they need to do something about it, though. I think it's snowballing is too encouraged, and the person who gets the kill is way too rewarded, in my opinion. Portal cooldown time, please, dude, make the portals like a 2-3 minute cooldown. 3-minute cooldown. Why are the portals a minute cooldown each? It's so dumb. I like the portal system. I think it's great. Make it a minute or 3-minute cooldown. 3 minutes. Why is it a minute cooldown? I could wait there, and every time I go back to lane, I could rotate, gank, rotate, gank, rotate, gank, because I'll just keep using the portal every time I get back to lane. It's insane. I think it's dumb. Now, I like that you have to manage the portal. It literally is another objective. I think that's a great system. I love the system. Don't get rid of it. And minion speed, also sprint mode. Minion speed, no, forget minion speed. Well, maybe you can increase it. Minion power, make those minions slap, man. Make them hit harder. I literally just walk past the wave half the time. They sometimes can group up and hurt me, but like most of the time, the game all it's about is literally beating your matchup. You don't have to lane really at all. And also maybe increase their health a little bit in lane, because you don't have to use abilities in the wave either. I just auto the wave down every single time. Items that help you clear like waves and camps and stuff, they don't matter. Like, you can just clear the wave super easily by autoing it. The minions are not tanky enough. They also don't do enough damage when you're going for your matchup. So it's never a threat to just walk past the wave and hit, you know, the person you're trying to fight. Sometimes, again, if you know how to position correctly and you walk around enough, the minions will stop aggroing you. The aggro needs to go further. You need to chase further in the jungle and stuff. There just needs to be a whole revamp for the minion system, and they need to hit harder. They need to be able to take objectives easier. I know I don't want to turn to predecessor, which is just push lane, push lane, push lane, but the minions are just not, they're just not really strong enough. They need, we need something, because the only time they matter is when you get the deer or you get orb. It's like, no, I want them to be, or when you get the inhibitor, sorry. I'm like, I want them to be stronger normally. And sprint mode. So sprint mode, I think sprint mode should be slower. I think getting into it should be slower, but I don't think you should change anything else about it. I think you do get into sprint mode a little bit too fast, and I've been saying this, but it's like, like, I don't want them to get rid of sprint mode. I really hope they don't. Fingers crossed they don't, because that would kill it for me. I would be so upset. I'd still play the game, but oh my god, the game is so nice with sprint mode. Just make it harder to get into. Make the wind up longer, you know? 2.5 seconds instead of 1.5, whatever it is now, or maybe 3 seconds, I don't care, but don't make it too long, but just make it a little bit longer, because like I said, it's so easy to get into right now and get away from a lot of situations. I think that people should be punished more for being out of position by making the sprint mode longer to get into, but I don't think you should get rid of sprint mode by any means, because it's a nice way of transversal. I really like it. Keep it, please. And when the game crashes or game's done due to network issues, we are well out of receiving excessive penalty. If you do not re-enter the game for a certain period of time, I am also fixing this part. Yes, I have been gone. My internet has crashed and I had to boot it back up. 5 minutes later, I got a 30-minute penalty for joining the game back, being there for like 10 minutes, and I still got a penalty. I was like, what? For 30 minutes. I was like, so I had to sit there on stream just waiting for 30 minutes. It was awful. We are also aware that there's a lot of feedback to adjust entry requirements to rank matches from level 10 to 15, so it looks like looking at that. Please, dear god, I get a lot of potatoes in my ranked games. Make it to 15. Please make it to, or 12, 15 or 12, whatever, 13, I don't care. Please raise the entry level. Level 5 was a stupid idea. Ranked is super scuffed. Smurfs are everywhere. I know they were trying to combat Smurfs. They should have just kept it the same. They should have made it 11 characters and level 10. That would have been fine. Make it level 15, honestly. I think ranked should be, again, it's also the price of a new game. When you have a new game and you start with ranked, this is bound to happen. No one knows how to play the game. They think they know how to play the game. They go into ranked, they get slapped. The cycle keeps repeating. So yeah, that's everything Ranger said on the Discord. It's pretty much all his thoughts and opinions. Yeah, I mean, I know, sorry it was a long video, I was rambling a lot, but these are my thoughts on all these things. Game management is important, I think, with the 70% thing. I definitely think that's very important. He needs to find a balance, or they need to find a balance of what they want to do with the game. Like, do they want it to be more fighting? Because right now it's a lot of fighting and killing and stuff like that, but there is farming. What I like to do in matches when I'm playing jungle, or even on a different lane, is I'll just out farm and get higher leveled and still be like at the same item level, but I'll still be like 2-3 levels over. There is a farming mechanic to the game that people don't know about, because I'm always max level and they aren't, because I'm farming my brains out. I'm taking farm from every lane. I'm jungling like crazy. I'm stealing all the jungle. I'm getting all the multi-camps. and I understand the pace of the game. So I'll be like level 18 before anyone else usually, if I'm not just fighting brainlessly. But if I'm fighting brainlessly, I fall so behind, it's not even funny. So there is a balance to the game. So game management is very important. Getting objectives immediately when they come up are very important, especially in ranked. You just want to grab the deer, grab the orb, go, go, go. That being said, maybe a little bit more management would be okay. Like I said, stronger minions and stuff like that would help with those situations. I don't think they should add a second tower or anything. I think one tower is fine. I like the game, the pace, the sprint mode's fine. Maybe there needs to be some penalty for going into the jungle early, because there's always invasions, like, and there's no like counter to invasions right now. I honestly think that's, it's fine again, but there needs to be some kind of penalty. Maybe like the laning phase needs to give you more XP or gold or something and be more important, because people feel like it's not detrimental to go out of lane early and come back. It just doesn't feel detrimental enough. So I don't know what they need to do. Maybe make the side buffs more important. That maybe add new camps there that give you more gold or levels or whatever. They need to add something to make it a little bit more flary for people to actually go for certain things. I think the side camps are useless. I think they need to make sure the side camps are good. Give them gold or XP on both sides, because there needs to be something else to fight over aside from just portal at 8 minutes, orb in the middle, and then the prime spirit. But yep. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's it for me. I just wanted to go over these opinions of Ranger, and just know that the game, they're looking at why the player base is so low. Even though the game is, declining in players, they're still working hard on the game and all this stuff. The game's been out for like 3 weeks, almost a month now. So we're still going strong. I'm still going to be covering content of the game nonstop. Don't worry about me. Trust me, I'll be there till the game falls. Hopefully it doesn't, though. I'm hoping this game will be here for years to come, especially when it comes out of early access, when it's on consoles. I can't wait. I'm super excited. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.